Motivate.
They are 100% motivated by fear.
Patent.
He had over 1,000 patents and countless inventions.
Architect.
This is the family palace, designed for them by a British architect.
Symptom.
Depression can have a lot of different symptoms.
Tremendous.
He's under a tremendous amount of stress.
In accordance with.
Eliane must be tried and punished in accordance with our laws.
Destination.
You have reached your destination.
Welfare.
I'm extremely concerned for the welfare of these children.
Envisage.
So she was exactly the kind of person Louis envisaged as being suitable.
Binoculars.
Binoculars make everything look bigger.
Glutamate.
In today's lecture, I'm going to talk about monosodium glutamate, or MSG as it's more commonly known.
Spoilage.
The making of any cheese is essentially a process of limited, controlled spoilage.
Misconception.
What's the biggest misconception about the modeling industry?
Vegetation.
In fact, 98% of the park is covered in vegetation.
Conceptual.
Detailed questions will always ask about an important conceptual detail.
Modification.
We made some modifications to the uniform.
Erroneous.
So it is possible for erroneous information to spread quickly. Robust.
He's physically very robust. He's very handsome.
Get off track.
We should have completed the project last week, but we got off track with a few technical issues.
Immense.
But this tree grew to 90 feet. It was immense.
Pull up stakes.
Sometimes I wish I could just pull up stakes and leave them.
Barren.
At midday, the bishop and the rich old baron entered the church.
Independence.
The 4th of July is Independence Day in the United States.
Intense.
With the intense heat, tigers change their hunting behavior.
Thesis.
He wrote his college thesis on chess.
Withdraw.
Did she tell you she was withdrawing from school?
Skeptical. I have to say, I'm a bit skeptical about that figure. I don't trust it. Flicker.
The man's eyelids flickered.
Cord.
Lucy washed them quite clean, and Jane hung them on the cord to dry.
Lower.
As the evening closed in, he was riding their lower slopes.
Primary.
Science's primary aim is to search for the truth.
Coincide.
You can plan your wedding to coincide with my funeral.
Mess.
Unexpected, all right. Looks like this company's in a mess.
Design.
Max, Edwin's ready to show us the design for our new website.
Insist.
I must insist that you leave.
Crew.
Flight crew prepare for takeoff.
Exhaustion.
She had fallen there, dead of fear and exhaustion.
Geographical.
Her body was left in Westlake.
It's a huge geographical area.
Indigenous.
We seem to have lost wisdom, the wisdom of the indigenous people.
Consistent.
You do not have to sacrifice sleep on a consistent basis in order to wake up earlier.
Sympathetic.
When a friend is in tears, we are sympathetic.
Personalize.
And how about personalizing education so everyone can learn?
Incompatible.
Cuba had considered the violence and prize money incompatible with Marxism.
Predominate.
These sensations for the time predominated over fear.
Complexity.
Look at the complexity of the human body.
Terrestrial.
But terrestrial weight doesn't change.
Commission.
The President of the European Commission congratulated Macron on Twitter.
Beware.
Beware, Paula. Your words can get you killed.
Compensation.
They want compensation for their ruined property.
Issue.
You're right. Is the environment a big issue in your country?
Finite.
We have a finite existence, a set number of days.
Curly.
She's got blue eyes and blonde curly hair.
Wildlife.
Wildlife biologist Jen is doing a count.
Swallow.
And don't ever swallow pool water.
Hasty.
He took several hasty steps backward.
Geometry.
Geometry was a nightmare.
Stuff.
Get your stuff. Time to go.
Landward.
In contrast to the middle, the landward edge of the lagoon is relatively shallow.
Vigorous.
And good to see you taking some vigorous exercise.
Subordinate.
Supervisors have to be aware of how their subordinates see their behaviour.
Correspond.
Each year corresponds to one of 12 different animals in the Chinese zodiac.
Farewell.
I'm going now. I bid you all a very fond farewell. Goodbye.
Adjacent.
This is the adjacent hallway to the crime scene.
Charity.
I'm donating this 200 to my favorite charity.
Comedy.
He wrote 38 tragedies, comedies, and historical plays.
Gorgeous.
I saw that house. It is gorgeous.
Recommend.
Can you recommend a gift?
Survive.
He was shot in the leg, but survived.
Grim.
And the civilian population is starving.
That is grim news.
Apparatus.
This time, we have more time, so we directly test the water with our apparatus.
Dome.
Russia's church domes took on the shape of an onion.
Formal.
His expression was serious and his manners very formal.
Explore.
Let's explore the universe.
Extension.
I see you as an extension of myself.
Consist.
As I remember, the game consists of 5 players.
Brew.
The peace lasted merely a couple of decades, and a new conflict was already brewing.
Sacrifice.
We all have to make sacrifices for the job.
Degenerate.
I turned desperate. Then I degenerated.
Intelligent.
Carl is a wonderful, highly intelligent man.
Historian.
Historians think Shakespeare was born on April 23rd in 1564.
Fancy.
Antique is just a fancy word for second-hand goods.
Aspiration.
Do you have aspirations for a career or a professional dream that you wish to pursue?
Considerable.
I could spend a considerable amount of money having my birthday party here.
Clumsy.
I broke a pot.
You always were a clumsy fool.
Gleam.
At this moment, a light gleamed on the wall.
Plastic.
Mr. Dinosaur is made of plastic.
Fascinate.
Animal behavior fascinates me. That's why I've become a zoologist.
Supervise.
'Cause I'm the leader, I'm supervising.
Evaluate.
So obviously I'll be evaluating everyone's performance.
Curiosity.
Why didn't you ask me and satisfy your curiosity?
Residential.
It's an incredibly quiet and peaceful residential neighborhood.
Soul.
I am the sole survivor of my planet.
Decade.
A decade of war is now ending.
Survey.
The survey found dogs are the most popular pets.
Fitting.
Perhaps the hand of God had decided that this was a fitting end.
Rudimentary.
I could only explain it in the most rudimentary way.
Courtship.
Once courtship is over, the males will have no more to do with the raising of their offspring.
Ritual.
There are a series of rituals in the wedding ceremony.
Stereoscopic.
Many predators today, including ourselves, have 3D or stereoscopic vision.
Interface.
So let's start with some updates to the user interface.